Trading is a game of the mind, therefore it can only be truly taught through experience. And the mind is a trickstar if you have not learned its functions and control. The financial market is a collective conscious mind governed by our choices and decisions, which are a result of our individual mindset accumulated from experiences and thought. So trading on its own is made up of choices that individual traders have to make. Now, it doesn't matter whether you set up a booth, because the result coming from your setup is going to actually affect your mindset. All our actions in life are governed by our choices and decisions. Over time, you will get to see from experience that emotional pain and financial disaster is common among large number of traders today. And the reason for this is not far-fetched. Anyone who has no proper guidance or experience of how to swim shouldn't go on skydiving over a deep ocean. Hi, by the end of this video, you're going to understand better what is known as crypto trading psychology, especially how to implement it in your trading. Mental analysis is one of the most important analysis successful, consistently profitable traders implement in their trading, and this is how they stay afloat in the ever volatile and unpredictable market like crypto. You might ask, how do you implement it in your trading? In his book Trading in the Zone, Mark Douglas talked about categories of traders who struggles in the market daily. We are going to understand particular characteristics that separates the consistent winners from everyone else in the cryptocurrency market is that they have over time acquired and attained a unique mindset and a special set of attitude that allows them to remain disciplined and in control in the face of chaos. You should be able to uncover how to improve your trading results and eventually become a consistent winner in the cryptocurrency market. It is true that anyone who ever trades end up learning something new from the market, but only few end up learning the required necessary attitude and mindset to succeed. That is to successfully handle their actions and response to the volatile market consistently. Trading is the only profession that is still never taught in our traditional school system today. But yet, the financial market is what keeps the economy kicking. Else, if the financial market crashes, the economy of the world will flush down the drain with it. Trading is still known as the only profession outside of entrepreneurship that pays the worker exact wages he or she deserves. But it is also known as the only profession that operates with iron hands and punishes carelessness and recklessness accordingly, unlike other professions. As a novice trader, it's better to fail on your first attempt to trade the crypto market. Most novice traders start out with a carefree state of mind after winning with such ease and effortlessness until he experiences his first loss. This loss causes an instant shift in his emotional reaction into emotional pain and can be quite shocking to him, but it's not shocking enough to force him to quit trading. After all, in his mind, the situation wasn't his fault anyways. The market did it to him. So instead of quitting and forgetting about trading, the great feeling from the experience he has had from winning will lure him, reminding and inspiring him with all senses of determination to not quit trading, but instead to continue trading. But this time, he will play it smarter and put in some effort by learning everything or anything he can about the market, as he believes that if he can win without knowing anything, it only means he will be able to clean up his mess and even win more. Learning about the market is perfectly fine, but the big issue here comes from the underlying reason for learning about the market, and this will over time prove to be his actual downfall. The typical response from most people after their losses is revenge, and for most traders, only way to extract this revenge is to conquer the market. Only way to do this is by knowing everything they can about the market. In other words, the underlying reason most traders learn about the market is to overcome the market and prove something to themselves. They want to prove to themselves that they can actually become consistently winning and prevent the market from ever hurting them again. But why is this approach wrong, you may ask me? The answer is simple. He is not learning the market simply to give himself a means of developing a winning system. Instead, he is either doing it to avoid pain or to prove something and not to change his objective perspective of the market, without realizing that as soon as he made the assumption that knowing something about this market can prevent him from ever experiencing loss or pain again, he has sealed his fate of becoming a consistent loser. Learning about the market can prove to be very fun, no doubt, and it even feels good. He or she is constantly assuming he knows enough to conquer the market after his knowledge quest. But curiously, even though his knowledge has increased, he now finds out that he has developed another problem of actually executing his trades. Now he knows about the market, but instead of charging on boldly, he hesitates. His mind becomes the enemy, second guessing himself, and doesn't put on a trade at all despite the amount of clear signals that the market has presented to him boldly. He doesn't get it at all. It just doesn't make any sense because he did everything he's supposed to do by putting in the effort to learn about the market, only to find out that the more he learned about the market, the less he actually took advantage of the opportunities that the market presents themselves to him. What was the reason for this issue, you might ask? The answer is simple. He will never believe it if you tell him that he did anything wrong actually by devoting himself to learning. But the issue is simple. He did it for the wrong reasons. Because of how the mind operates, he won't be able to trade effectively if he is trying to prove anything to himself or to the market, because to him, he has to win. When you're trying to prove something, then he will feel that he has to win. He has to be right. He cannot lose and he cannot be wrong. All this will force his mind to perceive and define categories of market information presented to him as painful, therefore viewing any information the market generates as painful if it doesn't support what his mind is saying of winning, or if it opposes what will make him happy. The mind is a trickster that is wired to avoid anything that is seen as painful, both physical and emotional pain. And learning about the market will not compensate for this negative effect this natural human mind pain avoidance mechanism has on our trading lives. When it comes to the mind avoiding emotional pain and any possible negative consequences it might create, especially for we traders, only very few traders have gotten to understand the dynamics of how this works. It's important to your growth as a trader to understand the negative effect that your mind can play on you and learn how you can control them consciously in a way that will help you fulfill your trading goals. If you've been trading by now, I am assuming you have once found yourself being in a situation like this. You find yourself in a losing trade when the trade is making consistently higher highs and higher lows, or let me say higher lows against the trade position. Why you refuse to acknowledge you are in a losing trade? Because you have focused all your mind and attention on the one or two candlesticks that shows up after little moves, after 10 has gone against you or few or more has gone against you. On average, your scene tries to go in your direction every time, and the opposite always happens, because every time it happens you are convinced the market has reversed and is coming back. Instead, the market changes back after couples of candle and then continue to go against you. It eventually gets to a point that the value of the dollar loss becomes too great that you cannot withstand it anymore and you cannot deny it any longer, and you are finally forced to exit that trade. For most of us, our guess reaction as traders universally will be that, why didn't I just exit? What just happened? I saw that coming. Why didn't I take the loss early and reverse the trade? Now, the opportunity to put on a trade in the open opposite direction all of a suddenly is clear to you now, that you are not in the trade anymore and there's nothing at stake. But while you were in the trade, this opportunity, you were blinded to it. Why is this? Because the mind was playing a trick on us by displaying the information displayed by the market, indicating the opportunity of reversing the trade and accepting the loss early as painful if we are looking at it that way. Therefore, exiting the trade was seen as painful, so we blocked it from our awareness. The greatest problem here is that preventing pain by avoiding losses cannot be done in trading. It's the hardest truth to accept by most traders, that preventing pain by avoiding losses cannot be done in trading. And this is the hardest truth to swallow as a trader. Think about life itself. Just like pain cannot be avoided in life, but the mind is constantly trying to convince us that we can exist without pain at all. Because the truth remains that pain is part of life. This is why we have medications, the painkillers or pain reliever. It cannot be entirely avoided in life. So is pain of loss or chances of loss in trading. It cannot be completely avoided. Losses cannot be completely avoided. Pain and comfort are two interchangeable feelings of the mind, but can be transmuted from one form to another. By understanding you cannot completely avoid it, you start to understand that getting ways to relieve it instead of avoiding it will help you achieve your goal. Understanding that the market generates behavior patterns, and these patterns tends to repeat themselves, but not all the time. The traders who traded these patterns the previous times are prone to changing all the time, and it cannot be the same set of traders that will trade the pattern every time. So with this, he understands that the traders can decide to change their mind, and this change of mind can immediately affect the information the market is sending, meaning you have no control over what the next trader will do. This only means that you have understand that you have no absolute control of what the next trader might decide to do, despite the fact that every individual trader is part of the collective conscious mind of the market, which means each decision can be changed at any time, meaning you have no absolute control of what can happen in the market, of things in the market, but you have control of your own reaction to those information. So again, it is clear that there is no possible way to avoid losing or being wrong in this market. So learning to tell yourself this truth will help you in your mental analysis. Learning more and more about the market through fundamental and technical analysis alone is the more naturally you will expect from the market, making it all the more painful when the market doesn't do their part. The issue you don't realize is that the cause of your trading problem is your perspective of the market, not your lack of the market knowledge. Again, I must say this here, that unlike the novice trader, not everyone has a negative attitude to loss. Therefore, not everyone is constantly doomed to loss in the market. It is relatively true that there are traders that do consistently lose to the point of quitting trading entirely. However, there are also quite a number of many traders who are tenacious students of the market, and they possess with them sufficiently good amount of winning attitude. Even in the face of chaos and difficulties, they prevail and persevere using discipline, control, and stability. They eventually end up learning how to make money over time. But know this, euphoria and self-sabotage are two most powerful psychological tricks that the mind uses to play powerful tricks on us traders, and these two will have an extreme negative effect on your bottom line result at the end. One of the primary characteristics of euphoria is that it can create a false sense of supreme confidence of some sort for the trader, where the trader starts seeing the possibility of anything going wrong is virtually inconceivable. It is only when you start winning regularly particularly that you are most susceptible to making the mistake of overtrading or putting in too many large positions and violating your trading rules. But oftentimes the market always end up not agreeing, and you end up hurting yourself and getting emotional pain, and your emotional pain is back that follows an inevitable important experience through an experience called unavoidable boom and bust experience. And this emotional pain that follows these times are usually inevitably important as you go through the boom and unavoidable bust experience. Then what is the secret to consistent winner? The consistent winner secret key is consistency. Getting back on your feet after learning the hard experience. The ones who persist by learning from the bust and understanding the implementation of sticking to the trading plan and consistently keeping the mind in check has developed discipline, control, and stability. And these traders have over time started seeing consistent growth, which means they understand the word consistency. These traders consist of the smallest group of traders, probably fewer than 10% of the active cryptocurrency market, and they are consistent winners. They have a steady rising winning equity curve with relatively minor drawdowns. These individuals have learned not just how to make money, but they have also learned how to use their mind as a weapon to shield themselves from the psychological forces that causes the boom and bust cycle effect. If you identify yourself as one of the many traders going through the boom and bust cycle, that means you win after a long period and then you start going through the period of drawdowns. Then try to consider this. If you could undo every losing trade that has ended up as a result of errors or your carelessness and recklessness, how much do you think you could have made by now? And then think about how you have responded to each of those losses. Did you completely accept responsibility for the losses as of then? Did you try to identify how your mental aspect affected the trade and try to change your perspective, attitude, or behavior? Or instead, did you look to the market and wonder what you might do to never allow such a thing ever happen to you again? I must say the market has nothing to do with your potentials for recklessness or have anything to do with the errors you make as a result of some internal conflict about deserving the money or that the market owes you something. The market doesn't create our attitude or state of mind. Instead, it mirrors our minds back to us. If you find yourself confident, it is not because the market is making you confident. This is because instead your beliefs and attitudes are aligned in such a way that it is allowing you to take control of your mind and step forward into an experience and take responsibility for the outcome. And this is only done by consistently practice. You maintain your confident state of mind simply because you are consistently learning and the market doesn't create your outcome. Instead, your objective perspective of the market does. Understanding that pain from loss or loss itself cannot be completely avoided in trading is why consistent winners have learned to keep losses short and let their profits in winning trade run by discipline, control, and consistent mental analysis. Why in any trade position, it is essentially as important as technical and fundamental analysis. Thinking like a trader requires you to have a consistent trader belief system, which is different from every regular trader's mindset. A belief system that the mind functions on automatically to cut losses short and let profit run, taking responsibility of every actions and response it gives to the market. What are these belief systems consistent profitable traders use in the cryptocurrency market? They objectively identify their edge in the market with intuitive discernment. Then they predefine the risk of every trade before taking them, like how much maximum loss they will tolerate on any trade position. They go ahead to accept completely that predefined loss and let go of that trade. They constantly are ready to act on their edge with no second guessing, hesitation, or doubt. They pay themselves as the market makes money available to them. They understand that they have to continually monitor their mind and any susceptibility of making errors, and they therefore never violate their trading plans. So these are how the consistent winners operate in the market, taking control of that mind and discipline and learning stability, understanding that this is a journey instead of trying to conquer the market. Mental analysis is further going to help you understand where you are being reckless in your trading. You will start to caution yourself. You will start to understand yourself, your reaction, your response to the market. You don't longer react, you respond. So when you see an opportunity, you question the opportunity.
It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.